Buongiorno. Do you like melodic doom? Do you like combination of doom and death metal combined? If yes to both of these questions, this one is for you called Shards of Null with the third album called Beyond the Shards of Death and Dying. Now this MCD came already out in 2020 and I got this a little bit before the year turned to 2021. So this has been on the review queue for a while. This one is a Spike Rot release and third album by the Italian band. Instead of your typical doom death release, which is all about kind of a black and white and tragic images and colors, this one is almost like pure white with some black colors, which I think it is purely intentional to create this different kind of a feeling for the genre album. What also is different with this third album is that these Italian guys decided to go different ways. Instead of having your typical 10 songs, 45 minutes kind of a thing, give or take, these guys decided to go with only one song, and that is 38 minutes long. Now, this is usually a warning sign. It's for a very marginal audience only. I mean, unless you can really handle your one-track album very, very well, it's usually no-go for people. I mean, it's not really a quick take, that's 4 minutes kind of a thing, which you just listen to give you a little bit of a thing, but more like a journey that lasts 38 minutes. Now, it doesn't obviously matter if the music is really good, and obviously, as such, the question is, now, is it that good? I would like to say so much. Yes, it really is. But what I'm more inclined to say, truthfully, really being honest here, partially yes, but not fully. Now the thing here is, basically this is representation in an Italian ways what My Dying Bride has been doing for more than 30 years now. That is this kind of a tragic, melodic, melancholic, doom metal combined with death metal. Now there is not death metal to be honest here, but I think it's a very fitting genre term here because it's not really the kind of old-fashioned 70s doom metal either. It's more about creating this melodic death metal, then combine that with doomier elements, that is slow tempo and those kind of a melancholic parts here, but also having these growl vocals coming from death metal scene and riffs that could be very well coming from, so-called melodic death metal. And then these are combined together and it makes a rather interesting take. Now usually when you have one megalomaniac kind of a song here that is very, very lengthy one, there are two things which usually happens. First of all, there isn't this kind of a typical, riff A, riff B, maybe a bridge part before chorus and, rinse and repeat, and then you just fit it in a 4 or 5 minutes mold, move on, have a different theme, have a different feeling and so forth. Now what you have here is this one track that is supposed to have these repeating patterns and at the same time being very, very lengthy without too much repetition, but still enough to make it feel like you're listening constantly to the same song, not like you're wandering around and getting lost in a way. Now, partially this album is just able to do it. The band is successful enough to have these memorable themes here, there, these key melodies and, vocal parts and all that. But let's face it, when you have 38 minutes of a one song, you have to have enough elements to make it worthwhile listening to, but at the same time, you kind of have to have this feeling that it's not changing too much. And that is where the balance or failure to reach that balance usually is. And this album is, like I said, it's mostly nicely successful with that, but it's also a little bit too much in my opinion. Now, obviously, when you want to create this sort of a drama, the arc, you have to have those ups and downs. But when there are too many downs, it starts to feel rather dull. It kind of starts to feel like you're listening to some filler stuff just in order to get that next high feeling. And that is where the band is not that successful. Don't get me wrong, this is very nicely produced. Every instrument sounds kind of a powerful and clean and all that stuff, but without being sterile. Also the vocals, which are the growlier type, and the rather nice, clean female and male vocals are right there. It all works out, technically speaking. And then there are piano parts, violin parts, to kind of season the whole deal here. But where this band fails is that instead of having this song split into different parts, just kind of a regular album, this 38 minutes is maybe just some fun thing to do from creative perspective anyway, from an artist perspective, like let's play this really hard thing, you have to be focused for constantly for 38 minutes and all that stuff. But listener point of view, it's not that interesting. It's more about being very cool as a concept rather than, being a thing to listen to. I don't know about the rest of the world, and to be honest, I don't really care about that. But for me, this is like mostly successful, but it's still kind of annoying at some point. Maybe annoying is a little bit too strong word, considering that I still consider this quite a decent album. But I don't just think this kind of thing works too well when you have that extra lengthy song. But it's definitely worthwhile listening to in case you just happen to be a sucker for doom death combo, and especially if you don't want the more melodic approach to that. So say if you are a fan of what My Dying Bride especially did with the genre, this is definitely for you. But in my opinion, maybe not as good as the best names in the business. But definitely worth listening to. There is something really nice to this album. I only wish I could have liked it even more. So with these words, always obviously click the links and give the music a go. It's up to you whether or not you're gonna like it, but at least now you know what to expect. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon.